Good evening. It's Backseat Drivers number 16. Just me and Matt tonight. Rob has thought, having friends and going to a birthday party or something is more important than spending time with us.
Holding you back.
No representative hat tonight, unfortunately, for all the hat fans out there. My hair's still nice from work.
I'm
today,
going for sponsorship today. I'm just hoping Bunnings somehow sees this video, realizes that I've spent many dollars this week at the fine establishment, and sponsors us for any amount of money.
The key thing with renting a house, you don't spend money at Bunnings.
The key thing about just buying a house, Dave, is you just spend all day at Bunnings. And then the nice people there say, you can just keep spending money, can't you? And I'm like, you can. And then you do. And then you realize, oh, I need some more Bunnings stuff. Thank you, Lee.
Wait till the credit card comes in at the end of the month and then have a heart attack.
I'm smart like that. I only spend the Bunnings money that I already have. I have, and I still have Bunnings gift cards from birthdays, and Bunnings vouchers do not expire.
Yeah, that is one good thing about Bunnings, actually.
So I have, I actually have a Bunnings delivery tomorrow. Maybe I'll wear the Bunnings hat and see what he can see what I can get. Hopefully, get a Bunnings discount.
Good luck with that one.
No chance.
So, where do we want to start off tonight?
Well, look, I mean, there's the all British super race. I believe I'm just going by what Foxtel have been telling me what to feel about Silverstone, and it's telling me.
What do they tell you to feel?
They tell me to feel that it's going to be an all English podium. It's going to be Hamilton, Russell, and Lando. No, the Lando.
Yeah. Lando.
They're pretty much. They're trying to make it sound like Lewis Hamilton has already won. He just needs to show up. No, Max doesn't even get a mention. I think in the Foxtel ad. It's essentially Lewis Hamilton's race now.
And unless things have drastically changed, I think it's going to be Max and Leclerc fight.
Yep.
But if you're a dreamer, yeah. Well, Toto came out and said that Mercedes have fixed their porpoising issues.
Toto says a lot of things, though.
The car's obviously not going to bounce and all this. Oh, no, now they have bouncing. It's not porpoising, it's bouncing.
So what's the difference between porpoising and bouncing then? Because to a simpleton like myself, porpoising looked like the car was doing this, right?
It's with the actual porpoising. So what happens essentially is with the ground effects, the car's being sucked down to the ground with the downforce that it's producing under body. So what's it to get the ground effects to work really well, they have to run the car close to the ground. So then if you're the further away from the ground, the less effect it has. So they run the car really low. So what happens is the downforce gets too much and it hits the ground, which then the car bounces back up. Well, this is the porpoising. So the car will hit the ground, bounce back up, and then gradually it'll suck back down with the downforce. So that's the actual porpoising, whereas the bouncing is what's happening like when they hit a bump and it just continues to bounce, like when you're learning to drive and you're not good at clutch control.
They're changing it.
Yeah, and it's like you've hit a bump and it continues to bounce.
Are you saying Lewis has suddenly forgotten how to drive? One of the greatest drivers has
forgotten
how to use a clutch.
It's kind of that effect though. So you hit a bounce and then it continues. Whereas previously, it's to do with the bigger tyre, the 18-inch tyres as opposed to the old tyres and stuff. So the suspension is essentially too hard now to make up with the tyres. So when it bounces, it continues to bounce. Whereas previously, the suspension or the tyre would have picked up that bounce.
So we're still thinking it's going to be bouncing, or
Uh,
or
Paul, well,
vertical vertical lift during
yeah,
the race.
yeah. But Silverstone's a lot flatter track.
Also, Dave,
So,
people want to know why you don't have a hat. This is big news. I
well,
mean,
as I explained, my hair is still good from work today. So typically, the way my week kind of works, I will go for a bike ride on a Thursday night before this. And then because I'm a sweaty mess when I get back from a bike ride, I'll have a shower. And then I put the hat on to cover it rather than redoing the hair.
see, I was told, Dave, in my job application that each night you had to have a hat and also do bare minimum research every week. I had very simple things.
There was a job interview for this.
I believe so. I believe you just said, do you want the job? How many hats can you provide? I need at least a rotation of 4 or 5.
And well, my fear is I'm starting to run out again. So,
well, Andrew,
I'll have to start recycling or
get new hats.
Yeah. So yeah, until I move, and then hopefully I'll find some. But yeah,
we have very high
Jacobson
standards.
hats might be going cheap.
Do yours always need to be sports related? Because none of mine are sports related. No, they are sports related actually. I've got
just the wrong sport.
Yeah, well, I could try to find a cricket hat and just confuse everybody.
Well, that might be the fun of your hats.
Just different hats.
I found. I don't think I have a hat that's not car racing related.
Ah. Do you have some special socks? Maybe you could show off to the.
I do. They just sat here.
You're not even wearing them.
Well, I'm keeping them for good. I'm going to trash them going on a bike ride. Look at what my friend got me from. He went to Hawaii, and this is what he got me: a pair of. That's a pair of socks.
Look. To be fair,
with friends like this, no wonder.
I do have other gifts. I do have other gifts. I just couldn't find them, and that was at the top of the pile of stupid gifts. You will get your other gifts when I'm good and ready, and I can find them in the box.
I'm not sure about this, Madcap Mark. What's wrong with my hair?
I reckon you should borrow my glasses, Dave. I feel like I look like a Bunnings. If I did have a Bunnings F1 team, I look like I'd be the race engineer. Just and I'd fix everything with duct tape and WD-40.
We definitely don't have the physique for the race driver.
I don't think I have the physique just for the pit crew. I was watching the. They do a lot of exercise. I thought it was. It's quite strenuous.
The pit crew stuff is pretty serious these days.
Yeah, they have proper fitness workouts.
If you're part of the pit crew, like especially Formula One, but even like supercars and that these days, they will. If you're part of the pit crew, they'll have dedicated gym sessions of that during the day.
Yeah,
for the team. Yeah.
Next week I will have a red shirt. I'll get the uniform correct. Yeah, because they had proper exercise because they do the lift up tires, move the tires. I thought it'd be a bit of because in the Drive to Survive they kept focusing on one of the Red Bull pit crew guys. I think he was like head pit crew.
Good or bad?
Good. I think.
Well, Red Bull's typically been the best.
Yeah, because I saw that there's that video going around of their 1.2 second like super pit stop, and you have to watch it like 8 times because there's like 47 different things going. Because there's two people doing the wheel for each wheel, and then they both have to not get in the way.
It's ridiculous when you actually.
Yeah, a lot of squats.
In slow motion.
It's a lot of exercise. It's and I found out I couldn't fit into an F1 car. I can't do pit thing. I could probably do tech support. Do they have IT tech support?
They definitely do.
I think
they actually have some serious computing power.
I think they do
with all
actually.
The CFD and that, yeah.
I would like to be yelled at by Yuki. I think I'd like him to tell me I'm shit. I think there's something about that tiny little man just having no filter, telling me whatever I've done. And not even being subtle about it. Just going, Matt, this is garbage. You've ruined me. This car, no good. All Matt's fault.
It's funny they've cut off his radio a hell of a lot compared to when the first couple of rounds last year. We don't hear much radio from him now.
I think he got sent to Italy for
Yes.
what was it? Learning how to be a proper driver.
Well, yeah, I think it was an attitude realignment kind of thing.
Yeah.
You need to be close to the team. You need to train.
Why was he in? Because he was in England at the time, wasn't he?
Yeah, apparently they said about his training and stuff, and he was a bit like, "Oh, I got this far without training. Why would I bother training?"
I mean, he's not wrong. I mean, if I didn't train, I don't think I'd be an F1 driver. If he's, he's just he's a funny little man. I like him now. He's becoming my new favorite. He seems to be like the back of the crew, the back of the pack crew. Him,
He's
Bond villain. There's like four of them that are just, they're not going to achieve anything, but they're just having fun in the back of the class. None of them are passing the tests. They're not going to ace. One of them might get a podium if something happens. But I don't think today is going to be. Silverstone's not going to be it. It's going to be like a Monaco or something, where someone tries to do, something silly, and then one of them sneaks through.
Yeah, even that though, it doesn't really happen these days. And then, I mean, you could say like Gasly at Monza in 2020, wasn't it? Where he won, but I mean, Gasly was still a relative front runner at that point.
It would be amusing if Yuki won, because it would give him that arrogance for the rest. I think for the rest of his career, anytime they told him something, he goes, "Just remember, I won it. I won it. Monza, or I won it. Remember me? I came first at Monaco."
Imagine him winning at Suzuka.
Oh yeah, that'd be pretty good. Oh yeah, Dave, you should do a mid-year report on.
Maybe we can do that during the August the summer break.
So we're going to have a big quiz in August, a
mid-season report. Yeah,
mid-season report.
I should probably stuff to fill in.
We should probably look for some proper prizes. I think your
Maybe.
Audience deserves something better than
What about a signed Bunnings hat?
Signed by who though, Dave? Because the hat's worth $10. If I sign it, it's worth $2.
But what if we all sign it? I mean, who wouldn't want that?
I mean, that's a prize in itself. So anyone that can answer our stupid quiz will win a hat. I mean, the comments are definitely lighting up with people who want a hat.
The viewers just skyrocket.
I mean, no one seems to be commenting how badly they want the hat signed by us.
No one's jumping in on that one, are they?
No.
I'm not surprised, but
we'll find some better prizes. We'll do an F1 mid-season report.
Yeah,
and
that sounds good. Shall we? Speaking of King Latifi,
one villain.
Happy birthday! It's his somethingth birthday today. I think he's about 28. No, he's older. He's like 28 or something, I think. Yeah.
Oh, he's only got a season or two left.
Fact check above. How old is King Latifi? Anyway, his birthday today. But Albon's getting the upgraded car for Silverstone. For some reason, they didn't want to give it to Captain Crash.
I was going to.
Apparently, it's so they can back-to-back test them.
So wait, is he already up to date with all the parts?
No, so they've got a new aerodynamic package. Like, say, you know what Red Bull does every race where they bring all these updates? Shit, I was close. Booby says he's 27.
27.
Yeah,
I was not close at all.
I was much closer.
I assume all those kids in the back are 23.
Is that what he turned today, or is that, yesterday's age? Anyway.
Are you grasping at straws, Dave, to get it right?
Anything. I can't believe I was that close. We might. Anyway, like Red Bull brings an update to every race. Williams are finally bringing their first update for the year.
Oh, Dave, I know. 95. So that'd make him 27. So
maths is hard.
Maths is hard, but yeah, 27.
Bugger.
And one extra day. So you're closer than me, Dave. You'd win the hat.
Yeah. But that's, getting it more right than Matt is, not exactly.
Yeah, the bar's not set very high. You're beating Matt in the F1 quiz of how old are the idiots in the back?
I'd be disappointed if I didn't.
So that's right. I remember last week there was who was the team again that's getting very close to getting penalties for too many upgrades?
Well, it's not so much penalties for upgrades. It's because they've got the budget cap. So they're spending too much money.
It still amazes me that you can spend too much money in F1, for a sport that just seems to have unlimited budget for everything.
Yeah, we'll see. Previously, like they would have had, $300 million or whatever to spend, the top teams. But now they're only allowed to spend 145, excluding driver contracts and top three personnel, marketing, and some other shit, I think.
Now, the top three, if I was to guess, like in Mercedes, that would be Toto.
Yep.
There'd be your head...
James Allison. That's the head designer.
And then...
I'm not sure who...
people.
So essentially the top five employees are outside of the budget cap.
And that's not just race day people. That's anyone that works in the... Because I imagine the race designer is not going to be down there each week, being yelled at by Toto because it's porpoising. He cops that Monday morning at the meeting. Yeah,
the head chief designer or whatever would be at the races though.
Like working?
They're usually one of the guys sat on the pit wall.
Ah.
So you'll find like Newey in that, Adrian Newey, who's Red Bull's chief designer, he'll be sat on the pit wall each weekend.
He's the one that sits next to Mr. Ginger Spice and the wall of monitors.
Yeah. So typically most teams it would be the team principal or whatever, and then the chief designer would probably be one of those highest paid employees.
That's something I could aim for. I think that's one you...
Third highest paid employee at Mercedes.
No, maybe just fifth. I could be... Does Toto have an assistant, like who runs around, gets him coffee, sends messages to Lewis?
That's Lewis has the assistant.
Yeah, no, but like...
You could be the next Angela.
Could I? Yeah. Could I be...
You've got to run after him while he's on a electric scooter.
Yeah, how come she's not allowed?
I'm the first one who mentioned e-scooters tonight.
I held out as long. I held out longer.
Yeah, I just from a personal point of view, like I find that crap that he races around on a scooter or whatever, while she's running around carrying all this junk.
Yeah, why is he allowed to go around on a scooter and she has to run around carrying?
But you'll see, that's another thing. Like this is another little thing that annoys me a bit with Lewis. Like if it's raining or whatever, you'll see someone like Angela will be holding the umbrella up so he doesn't get wet. Well,
he's very delicate, Dave. That water adds weight.
I've seen like Seb, where Seb will like grab because Seb had, I can't remember her name, but the press officer that went with him. I think she was at Red Bull. She went to Ferrari, and now she's at Aston Martin with him. And like he'll walk along and hold the umbrella up for her, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas like some of the drivers are like, oh, I can hold my own umbrella, kind of thing, or like, hey, do you want to jump under this? Whereas he's just a bit like, oh, you have to do that for me.
Yeah. She says, I'd imagine she's paid quite well not to complain.
Well, yeah.
Because I was thinking I could be assistant to the regional manager of the team, Dave. Like I could send the little messages between Lewis and Toto that they don't want other people to hear, because they send each other little
SMSs.
No, I reckon they send little notes that say like,
oh, okay.
Should I get wet tires today? Yes, no, maybe. And then Toto ticks a little box, and he puts a little love heart next to it, and he goes, "Be safe today."
Then when the decision goes the wrong way, you complain to Bono.
Yeah.
Bono, my tires are broken.
My tires I don't like it.
I better go and set the fastest lap.
Who does have the I noticed that a lot in the Drive to Survive. Who technically has the I wouldn't say authority, but if I was the F1 driver and you were the pit crew boss and you said box, and I go, nah, I'm good, and it's lap 57 and you're like, no, your tires are bald, you need to pit, and I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure I got this. I mean, I don't technically have to go in, do I?
There's nothing that says that you have to.
But you need to do at least one pit stop, don't you?
Yeah, like there's that within the regulations, but then you also, like, if you've already done your stop, you don't have to.
Stopping me from just going.
There has been some classic cases where Seb was calling the strategy from inside the car, like, Ferrari were like, oh, we're going to stop this lap, and he's like, nope.
No, we're not.
I'm just going to continue. Yeah. And I think Sainz did it at Monaco as well, where they'd called him in. He said, no, I'm staying out. We'll go straight to slicks rather than going wets, intermediates, which the strategy nearly worked for him. He did, what was he, 4th to 2nd?
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah. So especially around there. Whereas Leclerc came in for the intermediates and then went from 1st to 3rd or 4th, I think. So, yeah. But generally, you probably should listen to what the team's telling you because they've got a lot more information.
I was going to... Because in that... Because last week, didn't McLaren have issues with pit stops? Because normally you'd be ready, wouldn't you? I mean, it's a big assumption, but I would imagine if someone said we're going to pit soon, I'd imagine the pit crew would have been known a couple of laps early.
That was because that was under the virtual safety car, I think. So they'd called both cars in, and they ended up double stacking. So they'd only got Dan's tyres out; they hadn't got to Lando's yet. But there was that case of when Dan didn't win Monaco as well for Red Bull, where they called him in and I think they made a late change from intermediates to dry tyres or something like that. And then the guys had to run to the back of the garage to grab the other tyres because they didn't have them. Well, typically, but it's something to do with the way the Monaco garages are. So the tyres weren't where they would normally be. So they had to kind of run for them. Whereas if you saw at Baku, McLaren, it didn't take too long to grab the tyres because they were kind of there at the front of the garage ready, but not on the pit lane where they should have been. It's a bit different as well, though, because like all the trucks in that Monaco are parked somewhere else. And they have to do a lot of ferrying backward and forward with stuff, whereas most of the tracks, like your trucks or, all your equipment is just behind the pit bay.
You can just load it a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Weird. Will we be seeing any... I assume McLaren will have learnt from this and have... Maybe they'll have tyres ready for everyone.
Well, That was
would
a bit special circumstances.
would other teams see this and just practice for those kind of wacky scenarios, though?
Yeah, that definitely does happen, where they see someone else bugger something up and they go, "Hey, we wouldn't have been prepared for that either." Yeah, let's get ready for that kind of thing. And they'd probably even just look at like where they stack the tires and things like that in the pit, so that if there is a situation of that double stacking, that you can get them out quicker and things like that.
And then that'd be more squats, more time in the gym.
Yeah, carrying tires around faster.
How much
instead
you
of going and grabbing? Fact checker. Can you just look that one up? They're definitely not light, because imagine like when you change the tire on your car.
I did, and mine's an 18-inch tire, and the last tire
just like a Formula One tire.
Well, the last tire I changed was 13, and I could essentially pick that up with one hand and just chuck it back on the car. It turns out an 18-inch tire is a lot heavier, and to the point where
it's probably not so much the tire; it's the wheel that's a lot heavier.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then if you've got an idiot who didn't bend with his knees and just went, I'll just lift this up and hoik it onto the.
Bend your knees, Katie.
Yeah. I also found out about the safety tire. That's another thing they should have in F1. A safety tire. I don't know where you put it. Put it in the back. Like if one of the tires gets flat.
Space saver spare. You could just have a blowout and just chuck that on and cruise around at 80 Ks.
Well, wasn't there a puncher last year?
At Silverstone? Yeah, someone won the race on 3 wheels. I think that was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, you could have a space saver in the back. Just make it more interesting.
Just in case. Just on the space saver thing, do you get nervous when you're driving down the freeway and someone comes barreling past you at like 120 with a space saver on the front?
That concern. Like when I was driving mine, I had it on for not even 4 days, and I never went on a freeway because it has a big yellow sticker that says max 80, and it makes this. You find out how different a space saver tire is to a normal tire. Yeah, because you can hear it. It tells you fix the tire, don't be cheap, fix the tire, ring tires now. You know.
And you watch these ones come like barreling past you. It warps.
I feel like some people wear them, just use them as a tire. They're like, this is my spare. I paid for it. It's mine. I'll
I did have a neighbour like that once. And
the problem is,
you know what happened? They drove around for about 6 months on a space saver, and then they had another flat tire. And I went, good, they're finally going to fix the tire. No, they went and got another space saver. And the worst thing was that there was a space saver on the front and a space saver on the rear. I can only imagine how badly that car drove.
Where do you buy a space saver?
I don't know, but they got a second one from somewhere.
I hated putting the space saver on, and it looks wonky. Like when you drive, because it's. Jared, I do have a real car. I have a mighty CX-3, and I'll fight any one of you. It's probably the fanciest car I've ever had. It's not the best car. The best car has been a Mazda 323, which Dave and I were discussing, is probably worth more than every car I've ever had.
Only if you still had it and it was in good condition. And you were asking COVID prices for it.
I would definitely be asking COVID prices. It did have 3 different colors. It had a silver front panel. It was cream. And then I think the bonnet was a different color. I think that's called character, though. That's
ready for a restoration.
Yes. It disappoints me that I bought one in 2006 for $350 off eBay. We went up and picked it up in a trailer and kept it.
You know what's sad? I had to replace a tire. It was probably about 2 months ago now. The tire was $360. That's more than your whole first car.
Yep. My This was $350. I literally bought sight unseen on eBay. It just said Mazda. I think it was the 1980s in auto. It's like
Mazda car.
Mazda car has steering wheel and 4 wheels. What more do you want? Come on, just buy it, Matt. Don't be dumb. And then I did. And I remember going out to it must have been a farm, I think. It was proper, what was that movie? Deliverance, like driving out to the middle of nowhere, carrying it we hired a trailer. That's right. We just went to a BP, hired a massive trailer, drove out to, Uncle Jimbo's farm.
Didn't drive it home?
I don't think it started. I can't even remember if it started. We left it in my Romsey. Yep, Booby remembers.
Oh, there we go.
It was. I don't even know where that is now. I don't want to remember. It was a long.
I need to just check Google Maps on this.
We do, because it was. I remember it was a long way away. If I'm right.
If I could type.
Romsey, Victoria. It's got an airport. Fun fact. Oh wow!
Wow.
Yeah. I remember now. That was simpler times.
That's a long way for a 323.
Dave, for $350, I think most people would drive there now.
It'd probably cost you that much in fuel these days.
Oh yeah, that's true. I filled up for $2 a couple of days ago.
Is that all?
Yeah, I know. I was quite happy with myself.
You're going to have to put in V-Power Max.
Does the BMW take old Ronnie 98?
Yes.
But you don't pay for it, so there's
exactly.
No
I still sometimes feel bad, though.
For somebody. The accountant that plugs in the number
and then I see the trucks driving out the driveway and go, who cares about my fuel bill? Because they're probably chewing like $300 a day.
That's true. I think I do $300 every 2 months. It's not bad. Yeah, I did want to make it a paddock bomb mobile. It was, I think I only had it for like a month or two. It's a shame I didn't keep it. Now that I've got a driveway,
I thought you had it longer than that.
Nah, the proper 323 I had for a while.
Oh, yeah.
And then that died in a car park on Sydney Road, and we just left it there. And I got $15 back in Rego.
Spoken like a true proper four-wheel drive driver.
Yeah. Maybe next week I'll wear like a Caltex or BP Ultimate hat, and we can get a Shell.
Yeah, maybe we could get a fuel sponsorship deal.
That's a good idea. Bunnings and petrol is what we need.
So we've travelled slightly off topic a bit early tonight. Damn, we haven't got Rob to keep us on track.
Rob keeps us professional.
Who would have thought it was Rob that kept us on topic?
Because we know it wasn't me. It was never me.
We're really struggling.
Well, I think we need to do some Silverstone predictions.
There's the realistic prediction that it's going to be a Max versus Leclerc fight.
Yeah, but that's boring. Everyone does that, Dave. No more safe options. You gotta pick the
go for the outsider.
Yep. Here's my outsider, Dave. All English podium, and the Queen shows up. That's my the Queen or Prince Charles will make an appearance.
The sad thing is, I thought the All English podium was going to be the impossible task.
No. Prince Charles is going to rock up because he knows that he's going to have to win the public over soon.
I actually, without being stupid, like getting back on track a bit.
Dave, we don't have time for that.
George Russell's probably got half a chance of being in this fight this weekend.
Yeah.
Because it is like they were fairly competitive in Spain. So we're going back to which Silverstone is a higher speed track. It's more recent, so it's probably flatter. So George Russell's probably got half a shot. I mean, it will probably be Hamilton that'll lead, but yeah.
I have a
We'll put up Boovy's one first because that's a bit more serious, and then that would be very interesting if they did get into a tangle, battling it out.
Lee, would this happen like late on, and then Lewis wouldn't listen to the race control, and then they'd have a Lewis would give him a stern talking to, as I've seen him give.
Lewis, George is faster than you. Do you understand?
Lewis, we're going to forget about you next year. Please just slow down.
We're looking to the future. You're the past, man.
Russell is cool. He plays video games.
So Lewis did buy a Mega Drive.
Was it a Mega Drive? I did see it.
Yeah, he wanted to buy an N64 and said he couldn't find one, so he bought Senna F1 on the Mega Drive.
He couldn't find one.
I don't believe it either.
The man has he's probably the highest paid Formula One driver ever.
You know what happened?
And
he had a temper tantrum and he said, "Angela, help me find this thing." She goes, "I don't work for you today. Let me just go home to my family. I haven't seen my kid in 6 weeks. I'm too busy walking your dog and chasing after your scooter." And he's like, "Fine, I'll do it myself." I mean, full credit to him. He's plugged it into the back of a new TV. That impressed me a lot. Most of those don't work.
I wouldn't know how to do it.
Yeah, but
see, I have old TVs, so you probably could plug it in. Well, they're not flashing like my newest TVs. I'm just trying to think. I bought it when I moved into my last house, so it's 12 years old now.
Ooh.
So it probably has like old school plugs in the back of it.
I do have an old TV that. Oh, so Lee's seeing that a lot of teams just having punch-ons.
He's trying to get us back on topic.
I mean, good for you, Lee. Thank you very much, because God knows we weren't going to do it.
This is getting worse and worse. See, this is the problem, Lee, that, Ricardo's probably going to get smashed this weekend. And now that I've said that, the opposite will happen.
Let's just keep saying it. I reckon Dan won't get points this week.
Yeah.
Because every time I say he does, never miss. In fact, Dan will get I'm going to go P14.
They're actually in a really odd position, though, where they should really be the best of the rest. And Alpine's looking better than them most of the time now. Which, explain that. How the hell is a Renault-powered car essentially the best of the rest? It's not a Red Bull Renault-powered car. How is an actual Renault-powered car? This isn't 2005. We're in 2022. Like, they should be doing junk. It's like maybe getting rid of Cyril has, been good for them. You don't know Cyril Beatable, do you?
No, we're not.
Drive to Survive season 1 and 2.
Dave, I told you I watched season 4. I jumped all the rest. I was a bandwagon watcher of the show. I powered through 7 hours of it, sitting on a plane, on a tiny phone, and
that's the way to do it. Has Ocon got a lot more points than Alonso? See, I just get carried away with the Alonso hype and expect that, he's got about 1,000 points or something this year.
Do you just hear the word Alonso and go, he must have like 30 points at least?
Well, I still think of Alonso as like 2005 Alonso. Yeah.
Is that why you're confused? Then you shouldn't be confused by the Renault-powered car then. You should just think Renault-powered car, good. Alonso, also good. It's still 2005. I can eat 8 kebabs and I have metabolism that I don't need to be concerned with.
No.
No?
I didn't have metabolism then. This is why I'm the shape I am now. There There we go.
39 to 18.
That's a big deal. See, if these are the kind of facts we need for a mid-season report,
Yeah.
I
I
really
feel
should.
like Lee and Booby are really pretty much keeping this show afloat. Let's be honest.
They probably have more Formula One knowledge than us.
Well, I mean, me for sure. You.
I just don't look at the standings though. I just know Alonso qualified on the front row in Canada. Like, that's amazing. That car, there's no way that car would have, who else would have got that car to the front row? I mean, Ocon did win a race in it last year, but I think that was because Alonso fought like a lion and kept Hamilton behind him.
Kept the team going.
Did they cover that in Drive to Survive? The Hungary Ocon win and that?
I think they do, but it's not. The whole thing was pretty much, here's a story between Max and Lewis, and then there was, then they had two stories about one, Dan's shit, like, oh God, I'm having a shit time, and then his win, and then they had like, it seemed to be like the main storyline was Max versus Lewis, Christian versus Toto, which was hilarious. Don't get me wrong. It's, I think
my handbag's better than your handbag.
Well, it kind of reminded me of the movie. You remember Driven with where they played it up a fair bit, but it just seemed like Christian is Hunt, where he sort of just rocks up and goes, "Yeah, let's have some races. If anyone like has any trouble, I'll still complain and stuff." And Toto just seemed to be very
Wait. That was Rush.
Rush.
Don't get Driven and Rush confused.
Which one was Driven?
Driven was the Tom Cruise one.
Was it?
Yeah.
Which is the one where they had the F1 race during in Los Angeles? Like they just had an impromptu car race.
That's Driven, which was IndyCars.
Which
is an exciting watch because I think it's Montoya and Andretti. You do get to see them in it. And there's
Driven
a few other.
Stallone. Dave, you've been fact.
Oh, that was
again.
Stallone. Yes, it was Stallone. Sorry. There we go. Look at that. They're racing to correct us.
You know what? You know what we need? We need Lee and Boovy as race control of this show, and they just
keep us in line.
And every so often, I just need to be like, "Yep, no, I'm sorry. No, it won't happen again. No, it will happen again. I'm sorry, but because
so Driven is the best worst movie ever made. Like it is so bad, but it's exciting to watch every few years just to remind yourself of how bad it was.
Yes, because they don't date well. They they are atrocious movies
with the CGI and everything in it as well.
Yeah, the problem with a lot of them, if they didn't do practical special effects, they are, I wouldn't say much better because the Need for Speed movie uses practical effects, and let's be honest, that's not going to be an all-time classic.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I saw the Need for Speed one.
I've seen that movie maybe 3 times. I maybe shouldn't have admitted that where people can hear me say this and it's recorded.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
The Rush, I really enjoyed Rush. That was actually a really good movie.
Yeah, that was not to be confused with Premium Rush, which is about a bicycle rider. With what's his name? Third Rock from the Sun guy.
John Lithgow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's John Lithgow. It's a story about a bike messenger who's 60 years old and he lost his job during the pandemic.
He's the only one I know because of Dexter.
Oh yeah, Talladega Nights was a
yeah. I actually really enjoyed thingy as well, Days of Thunder, the actual Tom Cruise car movie.
The one you're going to get. Wait. I'm just waiting for Lee to. Lee, is that correct? Lee, can we have a confirmation that Dave's finally got something correct? I just need it. Dave needs it for his confidence.
Maybe we don't need fact checkers.
Yeah, no Google for the next 10 minutes.
So we can get away with everything random things we say. There we go. We've got Days of Thunder wasn't bad.
That's true.
I quite enjoyed it. So, you got the 4-match ties or whatever, out you go. There's all sorts of classic lines from that movie.
I've got to watch that again. I think that was a back in the day garbage movies.
I'm trying to think. I watched it it's probably within the last 2 years.
Oh,
I do remember the quality of it's pretty, like, the visual kind of quality.
well,
Because
Tom Cruise does get a lot of production values for when he does.
Oh,
stuff.
like it's brilliant, but it's just like the movie was filmed for a 380p kind of TV.
Nicole Kidman was in that.
Yeah.
Remember when they were a thing and they did movies together? I remember that.
And then he started jumping around on couches and stuff.
Yeah.
For a nutcase, his movies are generally pretty good.
Oh, that's the problem. He's an absolute nutcase, but his movies are, top notch. You can't fault him on any one of his movies.
Yeah.
But
we've got off track again.
Lee, where were you?
Back when life was simple. It was.
Yeah. or as Dave likes to call it, 2005, when Renault had a good engine, Alonso was king, and Tom Cruise, I don't know, had jumped on a couch yet.
I still haven't seen the new Top Gun.
Nor have I.
Yeah, but I have heard it's pretty good. And after listening to Hinch and Rossi this week, apparently something like anyone who hasn't seen it yet can go and get, but they're going to have spoilers on their show.
Ah.
Buffy wants to talk about IndyCar.
Oh, all right, Buffy. Let's talk about what we're meant to talk about and not talk about movies and...
Mid-Ohio this weekend. Alexander Rossi's going to have a domination weekend. Yeah.
You're calling it? Just that's it?
Yeah, that's it.
That's the review? Domination weekend. We're done.
We're done.
Let's go.
That's my prediction. So he'll get smashed by... Dixon usually goes well around Mid-Ohio as well, which he's not having the best year. There were some great years back in the 90s when in my full HRT kind of, anyway. So here we go. Lee, I actually hope so, Lee, because Rossi's a good one to have up the front. He definitely puts up a good fight in that, and it's probably there's something that's just been a little bit lacking with a few of those kind of guys not up in the fight the last couple of years. Anything else you'd like to? You haven't watched any IndyCar yet, have you, Matt?
No, not yet. I've been.
This is why we need Rob, because he can talk about IndyCar as well.
Yeah, and he probably knows like proper facts.
Have you heard of a company, Rocket?
That sounds familiar.
ROCKIT.
It sounds slightly familiar, probably from you.
They sponsor a couple of IndyCars, and apparently they haven't been paying their bills. And
so they're like an Australian building company. They're struggling to.
Let's not get into the building industry at the moment because it's a bit of a sore point. My house is at a grinding halt, and I deal with the building industry every day. So fun times.
Well, Booby's made a big call. A Chevy powered car will win. So,
well, he's saying then that Rossi can't win because Rossi's currently driving a Honda.
Oh well, that's we can.
Okay. Yeah, well, if the rocket funding isn't there, Tatiana probably will lose her ride, and it was anyway. She's not doing a bad job, but as I keep saying, there's probably a few women out there that are in a better in that role than Tatiana and even Simona Di Silvestro now. So I think that some people are trying to hang on a little bit too long. But anyway, that's my thoughts.
Good thoughts, Dave.
Yeah. I don't think we want to mention anything about Nelson Piquet.
And his chats with Hamilton and Verstappen and...
Well, chats about them.
Yes.
Hmm.
Much like the Red Bull driver that's now been properly booted from.
Yeah, but his is black and white. What he said.
Yes,
Yeah,
that was
Rocket did sponsor Williams as well.
Abby Eaton. She did her
Grand
back, didn't
Tour.
she? Yeah, but
Yeah,
she did her
yeah
back a couple of months
broke.
ago.
It was
Vertebrae?
last year in Coda.
Yeah,
She did it. No, she did the last W Series round, I think, but not very successfully.
Ah.
Yeah, I think she was one of the. I think I think if she wasn't last, she was near to last. So, yeah. But I'm trying to think of her name. The Jamie Chadwick. I would really like. They're talking about, oh, maybe she'll get an F3 ride next year and stuff like that. And you're like you really need to push her further, I think.
How hard is it to get an F3 seat, as opposed to like F1? You need a super license. F2, you need to be good at previous. Is F3 an entry point?
It's like it's the third kind of rung of the ladder, obviously, because you got F2 and that.
But is it expensive? Like, let's say my dad owned an oil company.
You do it easy. Like,
okay,
yeah, like the rumor was that Stroll was in like a 3-car team or whatever, and they were funding the other 2 drivers in the team as well to help Stroll.
Wait, you're telling Stroll, the one with rich daddy money thing, was given money to help him get better in life?
Allegedly, the other 2 drivers in the team were paid not to beat, but to help him set up the car and all of that. This is the
kind of job we want, Dave. You, me,
yeah.
and then Stoll, and then they say, Matt.
I'm happy to come second if someone's going to pay me a huge chunk of money.
Dave, I'm happy to come 5th if they.
But back on the kind of the topic of it though, you'd probably be looking somewhere around $1 million for F3 for the year. You're probably looking around that $5 million to do F2, and then obviously depending on where you want to buy your seat in Formula One, somewhere between $10 million and buying Aston Martin.
Or just Bitcoin, what's his name, Mazepan, and just say, "Daddy got me
on
the."
Yeah. They didn't spend as much though as what some of the others have. The Mazepins.
It made it sound like in the Drive to Survive that he essentially, if he leaves, that whole team just collapsed.
I think the big thing was that Gene Haas didn't want to put in more money than what he was. So then with Mazepin coming in, obviously, and they would have been paying Roman and Magnussen. They would have been paying them, around 4 to 5 million or something a year, I'd imagine.
Oh, okay.
Like they wouldn't have, So if you have someone like Mazepin coming in with $20 million, say, that's like a $25 million swing, which is for a team like that, it's probably a quarter of the budget for the year. And then once you
probably a big chunk of the
if you've got like $50 million of Formula One money or whatever coming in,
you'd spend it on the smallest team possible to get the biggest amount of power. Oh yeah.
But that's the thing. So then you have a few minor sponsors and things like that, and then all of a sudden, Gene Haas doesn't have to put in much money of his own, and that's where you'll find like some of these, like even Red Bull or whatever, they've got that Oracle deal that's worth whatever it was, $50 million a year or something, and I think there was something else because their budgets.
Oracle's like a multi-billion-dollar company, so they can afford to chuck in.
When you go through like the Red Bull deals, basically their whole budget is covered off the sponsorship, and then without Red Bull actually tipping in any money. No
I
reviews on Pikes Peak for me.
I have some Pikes Peak nonsense. Bad news for Ken Block fans because his car failed and had a major
Was that
engine.
Porsche?
Yeah, he had a Porsche. The
That looks
pink
really
Porsche.
cool.
It looks really cool, and that failed.
Ah.
Also, because Rob's not here, I'm going to take over his the Goodwood speed record has been broken by that weird little Batmobile car. The fan car.
I saw some pictures of that. Yeah,
it looks really cool. I actually like the look of that.
It is different.
Yeah, I think I like those Pike Peaks and Goodwood festivals because you get just ridiculous things, and I think it's probably a lot better than say the Le Mans 24 hour because it seems to be open to anyone. Like if you want to have a car, bring the car along.
Yeah, especially Pikes Peak, I think it still harkens back a bit to those older days.
Yeah, it's essentially bring
build something in your garage or whatever and go and have a crack at it.
Yeah.
The only thing that I don't like about Pikes Peak these days is because it is bitumen all the way.
Yeah, they've sealed it up now, haven't they?
Whereas, like in those classic days where you'd go from bitumen to gravel and that, so the car would have to perform on both kind of surfaces and that. So
I think also they need to make it slightly more safer. It's not the 60s where it's like have a slight fence. It's still dangerous, but it's not 1960s.
Pikes Peak is always If you go off, you're going off.
You're flying to the moon at this point.
Yeah.
You're pretty much done. Also, supposedly, Daniel Ricciardo is making an F1 TV series.
Yeah, so this is a scripted, fictional kind of thing, isn't it?
I think it's where he's a world champion. That's the fictional bit.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And Lewis
where he
turns
actually
up in a
does
Mack
good.
truck. Yeah, and Lewis turns up in a Mack truck, and he does not care about the environment whatsoever. It's I think it's going to be like some wacky drama show.
We call it Driven 2.
Driven 2.
Yeah.
Days of Down Under. I mean, it writes itself essentially.
Well, Dave, what platform is it going to be on? Is it like a Netflix thing or?
It's going to be on everyone's favorite platform, Hulu. Remember Hulu?
Can we get that here, or do we have to just download it?
I think.
I mean, we wouldn't illegally download anything.
I believe Disney Plus has it.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Hey, it could be worse. It could be on Paramount Plus or Stan.
I have Stan, I've currently got a free trial of Paramount Plus.
And have you used it, or has anyone in your family even looked at it?
We are currently watching. I forgot the name of it.
That's how good Paramount Plus is.
All
those shows, like that one, and the one with what's his face in it, and that show they used to show.
I watched an episode of it tonight with dinner too. House of Lies.
Ah,
yeah. We're watching that, so we're going to smash it out in the month because that was essentially the only other thing that I wanted to watch on there. There's a couple of specials with Damien Power, the comedian, on there, and that's because he is Will Power's brother, who's an IndyCar driver. But
really, Paramount Plus is not going to be kept on Dave's streaming.
Oh no, it is. Yeah, but the worst thing was you go to the website because you're like, because my wife said, I got a free trial for Paramount Plus. And you're like, oh yeah, what's on there? You go to the website.
What bet did you lose?
And the website basically doesn't tell you what you can watch on there. It's just like, yeah, we're awesome. There's like 500 different TV shows or whatever to watch. And you're like, yeah, but I'd like to know which ones. And then you sign up for the free trial. Yeah, and you go on there and you're like, yeah, it's pretty slim pickings. So.
Now, Dave, this is going to blow your mind, but I actually have an F1 related question.
No, Buffy. No.
No
Okay.
one watches the A-League, Boovian. I love the soccer, football. I have an F1 question.
Okay.
So you're not
Good,
going to believe
'cause,
it.
you know.
We'll finish off with an audience participation as well. I was
Okay.
watching a small clip. I think everyone will remember this. A young Lewis Hamilton is on Top Gear. I believe he's just completed a F1 star in a reasonably priced car, and Mr. Clarkson is interviewing him about his change from McLaren to Mercedes. Now I don't know if you
Okay.
remember.
So that's a couple of years.
It's a couple of years ago, and
Hmm.
Mr. Clarkson makes a point saying, isn't moving from McLaren to Mercedes, essentially saying, isn't this a very stupid idea? And then Lewis just responds with, we'll see how we go. What I asked for you, Dave, and everyone else, what did Mr. Hamilton know that, I mean, Jeremy Clarkson's an idiot, but he's not stupid when it comes to F1.
So the key thing I think with that whole Mercedes thing was that obviously Ross Brawn was still there, he turned Honda from an absolute basket case into the Brawn juggernaut that won the 2009 championship. Mercedes came along and bought the team. Now, that was around the time where they were trying to do the first budget cap. And Brawn, because they had no budget for that year, they actually shed a lot of employees. And then the budget cap was supposed to come in, and Mercedes were coming in on the assumption that they were only going to have to spend to the budget cap. So they'd set the whole team up that, yep, Brawn's gone from 700 employees to like 300 or whatever. We're cool. We can run on that. We can do it under the budget cap. And then they tried to do the first couple of years with the budget cap in mind. And then that was covered like 11 and 12, I think it was, or 10 and 11. And then they went, we're doing shit. There's no budget cap kind of thing. We need to ramp this up. And then 12 and 13, they'd really ramped up. And then 14 was coming in where they'd focus on the new rules. And that would have been a lot of Lewis coming across, would have been like, hey, we've been focusing on these new rules. We think we're good on the engine.
So whoever was Toto there at the point? Like someone must have gone to Lewis.
And Toto wasn't there. It was as much as everyone, Nicky Lauda, kind of thing. It was Ross Brawn.
So essentially, Ross Brawn would have said to Lewis, "Hey, you should jump ship, come with me.
Yeah,
I can see into the future. You're going to win 7 championships, and people will all hate you."
Well,
then he said, "Tell me more about the 7 championships."
Probably wouldn't have thought it was going to go that well, but and it's only 6 because Nico won the 7th one. But we're not counting that. At the time, though, as well, McLaren was a bit of a basket case, and he was pissed off because if you win a race for McLaren, they keep the trophy. And Lewis wanted his trophies. And McLaren said, no.
Sitting in,
Yeah. So you like, say Lewis would have replicas made of all the trophies, which is quite a normal kind of thing. Where and some of them have it written into their contracts or whatever that the team will get a replica made, and the replicas will be made by the same people who made the original and things like that.
Oh, they're not like cheap plastic ones that say you did well, 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, if truth be like they're they're generally exactly the same. McLaren was a little bit restrictive on things like that, and yeah, you had Mercedes going, come on, we'll pay you a heap of money. We've got this killer engine for next year. We're going to smash it. Or well, for the new regulations coming in, because he did have that year with them before the regulations. But yeah, it would have been like Ross Brawn just going, yeah, we've got this kind of thing.
And then jumping.
No, well, he got pushed out because then Toto and Nicky Lauda came in with their big fucking power struggle and whatever and pushed Ross Brawn out. And then they all they high five each other and say, "We're awesome, we're so good."
I think I saw that in the Drive to Survive.
Yeah, I think
they just high five each other all the time.
Yeah, and they're like, "We're awesome, we made the car so good," and you're like, "Yeah, Ross Brawn set it all up, boys."
So it's
but yeah.
essentially the equivalent of like in Premier League soccer is having a rich owner buy the team, buy all your players, and then you turn up and go, "I've got the best team." Like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
Some guy came along. You
Yeah.
just sit there and you say, "Kick goals." You bring nothing to the table.
Yeah, yeah, and that's nearly it. Like, yes, the like Tato Will's a very good businessman and whatever, but you could, yeah, there's been the kind of decline, and the same thing happened with Ferrari when Ross Brawn got bored and or whatever happened and left Ferrari. I think got more pissed off that they signed Raikkonen over keeping Schumacher kind of thing. But yeah, the Ferrari's never been the same.
Well, that was my my number one F1 question for the night, Dave. Also, just some other news. Red Bull, the RB17 super duper supercar.
Yeah, that was just them saying that they're going to do it, though, wasn't it?
Oh no, it's essentially like I also have an announcement, Dave. 2025, I'm releasing the matte super duper car as well. I don't need to show you anything at this point. I'm just going to tell you I have an amazing car coming. It's going to be good. $5 million. I take deposits.
I heard about it. It was in a podcast I think I was listening to, and they'd mentioned it. Oh, Red Bull's doing this supercar and rah rah. Instead of a Valkyrie beat a blah blah blah. It's like going to be a Formula One car for the street kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be a street car. It's going to be track only.
It won't. It'll be one of those cars where you can buy it, and then they'll be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you can only drive it here and here, and you need these 18 people to get it working."
Yeah, you have to call up the Formula One team to come and crew the thing on the track day. And
Christian Horner has to show up with Ginger Spice and and run you through all the features. Oh, 5 million pounds. That's right. 8.8 million. Yeah, so if we all start saving now, we can
do what's one of those crowdfunding things? Yeah, GoFundMe to buy backseat drivers a RB17. Is it?
Lee, how long? I've heard that they've stopped taking any more new Cybertruck orders because I work with a man that put his $100 down.
Was it a whole $100 they were asking deposit on those?
It's 100, I believe so. Lee can wait. Let me just check. Lee, $100, please. Can you check? Thank you very much.
I thought it was a real like commitment amount, like $10.
No, I think it was $100.
Yeah, which realistically deposit on a car $100.
Yeah,
that's not even a tank of fuel. Ooh, stand back.
Look at Lee. Obviously, did well at the sports bet with an F1 thing.
But it's probably a smart thing from Tesla though, because what do they get? Like $1 million deposits or whatever.
Yeah, it's $100 million.
Cha-ching. And then how many people are going to really fight when they say, "Oh, we're not going to do the Cybertruck anymore"? How many are going to fight you to get the $100 back?
Oh no, I think they're still doing it. But I think if you had $100 million, essentially you could build your you could start building the first few.
Well, it gets you about 1/10 of the way through your R&D.
Yeah,
maybe.
And then and it gets Elon closer to Mars.
To the moon. Oh, yeah, he's going to Mars. I was thinking he was going to the moon.
No, he's going to Mars because he needs to get back home. He's he's missing the family.
He's another fucking space cadet, isn't he?
Oh, he's on a
He's
different
really
planet.
losing the plot, isn't he?
I feel like the billionaires are getting weirder. I remember when I was younger, we had Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, weird guys, right? And then you had Richard Branson, who did he ever own an F1 team? Actually,
No, he sponsored Braun for
ages. Or something.
He sponsored them for like 50 grand or something at the Australian Grand Prix and got these logos on there. And of course they won. So I went, "Oh, this is pretty cool," and then gave him like $1 million for the rest of the year kind of thing. And then he thought, "Oh, this is easy." So he sponsored what ended up being the Mauritius team, which at the time was Manor, I think it was. No, it ended up Manor. It was Mauritius. It started off as someone else. Anyway, he thought, oh yeah, I'm going to smash this, and gave them like $5 million for the year, and then they were back of the grid kind of thing, and he cracked the sads with it and left.
Yeah, I just feel like they're getting weirder and weirder. These billionaires, they're
I don't think things like Twitter and that help.
No,
though.
I think
yeah,
you just needed people to be like, I've got $1 billion, I'll hide back here, I'll sponsor a bunch of things.
Yeah.
Let Elon go to the moon. Make Lee.
Is he still trying to buy Twitter?
Yes, he's still trying to buy it. He's the thing that he's holding back is he wants to know how many users are legit and how many of them are actually, like, there's like let's say there's 100 million users.
Does that make a difference to the price?
Well, he
in all seriousness.
Yeah, supposedly he wants to know how big the platform is organically, not just fake. And Twitter's saying we can't tell you because that's a part of our secret intellectual property. And then Elon's like, well, I don't want to anymore. Essentially, he's just playing mind games with the share price, and he's just going to go off and.
But is that like, say, going to the dealership and going, I'm not going to buy this RB17 because it's got a bit of dust on it?
Yeah, I think
like I would buy Twitter, but you won't tell me this. So
I think it only works.
I would buy that Formula One car, but
you've got to be a millionaire. Like if we walked in and said, "I'd buy this GT3 Porsche," they'd be like, "No, you can't. You'd never afford it." But if I came in and I had money, they're like, I would buy it, but it's in fluoro green. They'd be like, "No, maybe we can change it for you." Like, no, it's too late. I changed my mind. Yeah. I'm buying a Lambo.
Yeah, it feels a little bit like, I'm going to go by Facebook instead.
Oh, there's another weird billionaire that needs to go back to his home planet. Or like nothing.
I'm not sure what's wrong with the Bunnings hat.
my Bunnings hat's fantastic. Look at it. Oy. I don't know if you can buy them anymore.
I'm thinking about getting one myself. Oh, no.
I think you can buy them. I don't know, because I remember I got this free when I bought a bunch of stuff.
Okay, I've spent enough at Bunnings over the years to get something for free, I would have thought.
Oh, no, this is the corduroy one. There's a new one. Oh, it's out of stock. You can get it delivered.
2022 edition.
I might collect hats. I mean, yes. That's what I should get free sausages with this hat.
Maybe you should, if you spend so much in Bunnings, you get a free sausage.
Just one.
Well,
I've spent like $300 this week and I've been to Bunnings like 4 times already. Oh, Lee, I like the way you think. Play hardball.
Nobody thinks he's a tradesman, Jared.
No, look at this, Jared.
look at him.
Look at these hands.
Soft hands.
These delicate, soft. Look at this. It's just, these hands have never done hard work in their life except today.
I can't say anything these days.
Old factory Dave, no longer.
Back in the old days.
These are delicate hands that are essentially like 5 sticks of butter. That's how soft they are.
Another one asking about the hat. Because my beautiful hair is beautiful tonight. I don't need a hat to cover it up.
I think you got to realize the fans want to see your hat, not your hair.
What do the fans think of the great kind of half-assed beard thing I'm growing? I mean, I feel more masculine now. Like Rob comes on and he's got the big full beard. This makes me feel more like a man.
Are you saying I shouldn't have shaved because now I look 12? I look like someone's let me on a building site.
It doesn't help, does it?
Oh, Jared, I do want a trade shirt. Actually, that would complete the set. I think I've got a JB and a Senecom shirt somewhere. People just gave to me. I mean, they're probably not going to fit.
They make you look like a computer nerd.
Yeah, I know. Heaven forbid I look like a computer nerd.
What's happened? Like we've got no one here trying to keep us on track.
I think I've I think Lee's gone. I think Lee's trying to get a sausage.
Look at this. Grey and ginger don't work well.
Oh,
Well, I've got plenty of years of grey and ginger coming up, so
Jared, you are
here
a
we
man
go.
of quality. Yeah, see? At least I tried, Dave.
Sorry. I'll do better next week.
Well, I'm gonna
Maybe.
wear a red shirt next week and look like a track
Ferrari
engineer.
fan.
Oh yeah, that could work.
I should go back
Actually-
to wearing the bandwagon t-shirts.
I should try to find my Jet Force India top.
Mm.
That must be in a box somewhere. Hopefully, I can find stuff for next week.
It's exciting.
Otherwise, so Graham missed out on our picks for
Oh,
Silverstone.
Been
We
through
have
this.
two. We have two, Graham, and I'll happily go through them again. We're either going all British. I think that's the dreaming way, or just Max and who.
Yeah, Max and Leclerc will be fighting it out, but for a bit of fun, we'll go. I'll go Russell as my outsider.
I'll make it more believable. Russell to win, Prince Charles to present him with the cup, and then he gets booed by everyone there, and he's like, "Why does nobody like me?" Oh, I do need an e-scooter hat.
Can you get you're spelling scooter wrong though, because it's spelled
Yeah.
like SKOTR or something, isn't it? Because they're all hip.
Yeah, they're cool and
Lee's ignoring Charles. You reckon Charles will blow up again or something? Jared's going for Lando in P1. I would like to see Lando have a win.
Yeah.
But yeah. What's the weather supposed to be like? Fact checkers?
It's England, so I'm going to say overcast and probably
Drizzling.
Drizzling.
No, they've had a lot of dry races lately. I'm trying to think the last wet one there.
It's going to be 18 degrees.
So that's like melting weather in England.
Wait, what day? What day is the
Sunday.
race? Sunday. Oh no, 20. Yeah, that's going to be scorching.
People are going to be passing out from the heat
There will
stroke.
be. Oh, that's Oh no, yeah, that might be too hot for Lewis. He might need
he'll overcome the weather.
He'll need two
and
umbrellas.
it's his greatest performance ever.
Do you think, Dave, in all honesty, that there will be an Englishman on the podium at the end of the race?
There's a good chance because I think the Mercedes is probably going to be. I don't think they're going to be on the pace of Max and Charles, but I think they're going to be able to challenge Sergio and Carlos.
So you reckon
I think they'll be in that.
Be up front.
Yeah, and I think the Mercedes will actually be in that battle for. They'll be as good as the second top cars. They won't be as So I think the Mercedes will probably be a bit there or thereabouts, but I think they'll be as good as the secondary drivers, not the A drivers. Ooh, that's a wet practice and qualifying. That could mix the grid up as well. So that's where you could get like a Lando up the front or Fernando again. Because remember, in Canada, it was wet in qualifying and he put the thing on the front row. Don't you forget about that. Because he never will.
Never forget 2005. Dave, for some reason, it's peak Dave 2005.
I don't think. Nah, I peaked later than that, I reckon. Now, with this manly beard coming in. Yeah.
Now, Dave, just a thought.
I didn't even have to wear a hat tonight either.
Could you dye that beard like black?
I might have to because some people have actually been getting stuck into me about the grey hairs. I mean, Boovy and someone else has given me shit about it. So I'll find you. Fucking someone at work the other day was bloody I didn't notice you had grey hair. I'm like, what fucking grey hair? I'm like,
Just
I don't know.
they're distinguishing marks, Dave.
Yeah.
Hey, how good is Daniel Ricciardo in the wet normally? Is he what you'd call a wet weather specialist?
Look at this. How can we have a serious conversation? I don't think there doesn't seem to be these days as much where you have those wet weather specialist people. So he did brilliantly in Monaco in one of the wet races.
Yeah.
But then there's other times that he hasn't really shone. So, and I think gone are the days where you could like manhandle, like Alonso in 2001 in his Minardi, he would have manhandled that to the front in a wet race. All jokes aside, like someone like Senna in 84 at Monaco or whatever that everyone goes on and on about, like that being a wet race where he was in a relatively midfield car or whatever, and he was able to get that to the front. It doesn't seem to happen kind of these days.
Yeah, because I think that's what I was asking. Oh, yep. There's no more. They're now just going to have vertical lift, Graham, where the back goes up and then just like a wave.
What excuse are they going to use for not winning this weekend?
Weather, tire choice, and what's the other one you can use?
Wind.
Yeah. Pit strategy.
Fire.
There was a fire in the a cramp.
Yeah.
Lewis will get a cramp and he'll have to. Actually, that's another video I saw. When was the last time they had to replace the steering wheel? That could happen.
Yeah. I'm trying to.
Because there was a video I was watching where Hamilton had to get a new steering wheel. I mean,
was that during a race?
Yeah, they radioed him and said, we're going to come in, we're going to give you a new steering wheel. And essentially from the left-hand side, they sort of like snuck in a...
Yeah. I do recall it happening more in like the 90s, especially when the gears weren't working properly. But obviously the technology's come a lot further now where they've had a long time to perfect the gear changes in the back.
I reckon I'm hoping, though, that we get Angry Toto, who complains about like a dubious call.
Smash the table.
Yeah. I do like dubious calls against Toto. I think they're just... whereas Christian just gets annoyed, Toto takes it like as a personal attack. I
also wonder sometimes, like, Christian, he came out and said, like, we'd be doing the same thing with porpoising if...
Yeah, he like, almost defended them.
Yeah, and he will admit, like, we will do it to wind other people up.
Oh,
and then they go out. Yeah, they go out and do it. Whereas Toto seems to like be you should change the rules to make our car better, kind of thing. And they seem to be a lot more serious about it.
From that Drive to Survive, Toto and Lewis seem to be the person that like studies really, really hard to get the good score, whereas Christian and Max were sort of like the gifted ones that you're like, just going to go to do this race. I might win, might not.
Yeah.
You know, if I don't win, I'll be like a little disappointed. But if I do win, oh God, I'm letting everyone know. I'm going to run past the McLaren, the Mercedes pit crew and go, oh, you see this trophy? I got that. What did I do for it? Not much. Are you still having troubles with your wheels? We don't have that. Anyway, good luck. I'm off to Monaco now.
I'm not sure if it's just the way the media presents them but that's the impression that you get.
Yeah, even like the whole thing they showed, like even down to little things where they're talking to Toto when he's having breakfast and he's ordering in, I'm assuming, German or something.
Well, what is it? Austria, because he's Austrian.
Yeah, but when he's ordering his meal, it's like pumpernickel with this and 2 slices of this, and like it's very structured and stuff, and even like sitting with his kids. And then you go to Mr. Ginger Spice, and he's just riding a horse with Ginger Spice going, oh yeah, we've got a race this weekend. Oh,
It's
how do you
not
reckon you?
top off Putin style, is it?
No.
Because
they
there has been some interesting photos of Ginger Spice over the years, not Mr. Ginger Spice.
But it does seem like they're a lot more laid back, and
Yeah,
and he's almost doing this as like, oh, it's a fun thing to do. I get to travel around the world. Yeah, it is. It looks like it's edited that way that Toto and Lewis Hamilton.
Oh yeah,
are like,
they have to do. Yeah,
yeah, and
from
they've
what
made it look really good.
Yeah, and from what I've heard, like over the years, where people would say apparently Schumacher was actually a really genuine bloke in that behind the scenes. Like I've heard of stories where he would know like everybody in the factory. He'd know everybody's name and would know their kids' names and things like that. And he'd know when their birthdays were and buy presents for all the mechanics on their birthdays and things like that. But the media always portrayed him as like a villain, because you would get that that steely face of competition, and then some of the other drivers that have been really good in front of the media and stuff behind the scenes have supposedly been total assholes.
Are you saying Daniel Ricciardo behind the scenes just punches kids and kicks babies and stuff because he's just too nice?
Can someone naturally really be that happy all the time?
I think he genuinely loves it because he is paid millions of dollars to drive an F1 car and live in Monaco for the weather. Yeah, and own a vineyard.
I mean, like on these videos, I always look happy and joyous.
He's not.
And things like that. And I live in beautiful Melbourne and things like that. And sometimes, I have to deal with people during the day that I'm not too happy dealing with. I do get annoyed. Well, I didn't want to say anything, but
They sends me messages before this starts, and it's just a lot. It's essentially Yuki to a race engineer telling me how I did the last week. This is crap. Nope, throw this out. He looks at my notes and says, these notes are all wrong. I don't even know why you talk.
And then you don't even listen to any of my suggestions.
Yeah, like watch the race, learn what the names are.
This is an IndyCar. Watch it.
Like that musical Hamilton wasn't about Lewis Hamilton, as I found out. That was a waste of 6 hours of my life. I'm not getting that back.
Thank God I didn't bother with that one.
What's this? I was a flag marshal. What? When Alan Jones raced his F1.
So Alan Jones won, I hope. I'm still suffering the effects of doing a solo live stream.
And your shoulders? How's the shoulders, Dave, for carrying the show on your lofty shoulders?
I'm not. I don't worry about that, I'm used to carrying.
You do it for the fans. You do it for the
world
fans.
kind of thing, yeah. But I've still got this bloody cough every now and again. So Alan Jones did win. Good. Because I'd be disappointed if he didn't. Especially against Bruno Giacomelli. I'm not sure how to pronounce that one. I have heard of him before, but he wasn't. I thought it was Bruno.
Ah, look.
Yeah.
Bruno sounds funnier. It sounds more like you're not trying.
I think we've covered off everything tonight, though.
I think
so it's been an hour and a half.
In a roundabout way, we've covered
time limit.
I feel like we've covered everything. We got Graham up to date. Bruno. Okay, so not Bruno.
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce Giacomelli. Giacomelli.
Where were you for the Italian race? Where were you for the Italian races?
I tried that, didn't I?
You did. You tried a little bit.
Emilia Romagna.
It's a lot better than what it was before. I felt like you've been practicing. Always next year.
Monza.
Oh, that one's easy.
Yeah.
Let me try one. Albert Park. Yep, we've got it. We're
Sweet, we're covered.
done.
We got both ends of the Silverstone. And on that note,
I think we're
thanks for watching, everyone. It's been another good night.
Yep.
And Buffy's come in with the
Let me just try
command.
pizza F1.
Good night, everyone.
See you all.